Who would have thought there would be a player that is hated as much as Arturo in The Money Heist or King Geoffrey in Game of Thrones? Well, there is, and this time it's in the game of tennis. In the world of tennis, when you think of annoying or controversial players, the name Superbrat pops up in your head. In this video, we'll be talking about the most hated and controversial tennis player ever. A player regarded as vain, ill-tempered, and a petulant loudmouth. You think these words are harsh? They are nothing compared to the words used by the most hated player himself. In the world of tennis, a couple of players have been known to be extremely rude to their opponents: the umpire, the press, and even the fans. However, as much as the likes of Nick Kyrgios, Ilie Nastase, Daniel Kollerer, amongst others, there is one man whose obsession with winning and annoying temper has led him to claim this title with little or no rivalry. His name is John Patrick McEnroe. John McEnroe is known for his confrontational court behavior with his catchphrase, "You cannot be serious," which always landed him in trouble with umpires and tennis officials. His disgusting attitude earned him the name Superbrat from the Daily Express. Besides being so hot-tempered, John McEnroe has also proven to be hot on the court. He is one of the most successful tennis players of his generation, having won 7 Grand Slams. However, even before John began to get famous because of his tantrums in 1979, The Sun wrote this about him: "He is the most vain, ill-tempered, petulant loudmouth that the game of tennis has ever known." Such crude words for a player who was just 20 years of age and still gaining ground in the game. Unknown to us, these words were as true as they could be. In an interview with the American journalist Garcia Navarro, McEnroe was asked if Serena Williams would qualify as the best tennis player in the world, and he insisted that she was the best female player ever, no doubt. However, on further insistence, McEnroe revealed that Serena Williams couldn't be considered as the best tennis player in the world, because if she played the men's circuit, she'd be like 700 in the world. Pretty offensive words to a strong contender for the greatest female tennis player of all time. This statement stirred up a lot of controversy. John McEnroe has been fined for mundane things from even the first year of his professional career, but has also been able to escape punishments on some occasions. In 1977, McEnroe screamed obscenities at a French Open line judge and was not fined for it. In 1981, he was fined $10,000 at Wimbledon when he called the umpire Ted James the pits of the world and told him, "You cannot be serious." The fine was appealed and reduced to $6,000. However, he ended up winning that match and ending Bjorn Borg's reign at 5 consecutive championships and 41 straight winning matches. However, he refused to attend the champions' dinner, stating, "I want to spend the night with my family and friends and the people who had supported me, not a bunch of stiffs who were 70 to 80 years old, telling you that you're acting like a jerk." He was the first player to be disqualified from a Grand Slam event since 1963 for his behavior at the Australian Open in 1990. Where he reached the maximum of 3 offenses leading to disqualification. Eventually, he had to resign his membership of the prestigious Queens for uttering a stream of unpleasant and shattering remarks aimed at various members. McEnroe's tantrums didn't sit well with the American journalists, as they picked every opportunity to speak about him. In an article by Newsweek's Pete Axthelm, he writes, "McEnroe does most of his pouting in the courts. In private, this devastating athlete can be a nice enough kid, but when he steps into the service line with his perpetually put-on expression and his insistence that every line, call, and crowd reaction go his own way, his public posture is all too easy to understand. Call it spoiled. I wouldn't lie. McEnroe definitely acted a lot like a spoiled brat." However, the press feasting didn't end there, as journalist Barry Lorge left his opinion of the player in the Washington Post, writing, "He came across as a precocious brat, immensely talented, spoiled, and rather obnoxious. On the court, he pouted, cursed, and threw his racket. He was a crybaby. Off the court, he demonstrated little savoir-faire." In 1984, McEnroe had his craziest meltdown where he was suspended for 3 weeks. He yelled what would be his second catchphrase, screaming, "Answer the question, jerk," at the umpire. He then hit a ball into the crowd and smashed a tray of drinks with his racket. In the same year, during a Wimbledon tournament, McEnroe insulted umpire Roger Smith, saying, "Over 1,000 officials to choose from, and I get a moron like you." After which, he threw shades at 2 other officials, saying, "You sit there like 2 bumps on a log and do nothing." Really? That was mean. During a Davis Cup match in 1987 between the US and Germany, McEnroe shot a remark at the black linesman who called him for a fault. He uttered, "I didn't know they had black Germans," thereby insinuating that the linesman was working for his opponent. Throughout the competition, McEnroe continued to utter racially abusive words to both the officials and a fan. These actions definitely garnered him hatred from the fans. In September of the same year, McEnroe let his temper get the best of him at the US Open, where there was a call against him. He slammed his racket in the courtyard and yelled at the umpire saying, "Didn't you see anything? Couldn't you see a damn thing?" That cost me the set. The set was over, the ball was out. After his exchange with the umpire, McEnroe calmed down, or at least we thought he did. Not until he walked past the CBS technician who was holding a courtside microphone and said, "Do me a favor and stick that mic up your ass." This action definitely did not go unpunished, as he was fined a total of $10,000 and handed a 2-month suspension for his disturbing behavior. Due to his endless string of bad behaviors, McEnroe basically became an allergy to most brands. The president of Madison Avenue Ad Agency once said, "When I see McEnroe, I see bad sport. I wouldn't want him identified with my brand." Although McEnroe went on to bag some endorsement deals during his time, and is even listed in the top 10 richest tennis players of all time, I guess a rejected stone can still prove useful someday. Recently, McEnroe landed himself in a pool of backlash with tennis fans for his recent comments about 18-year-old Emma Radukinu. The astonishing young British sensation won the hearts of fans worldwide with her incredible Wimbledon run of form. However, this didn't last for so long, as the star was forced to withdraw from the tournament because of an injury. While playing her round of 16 match, she suddenly appeared to be struggling with her breathing, and the match had to be halted. She did not return after receiving treatment. This got a lot of people worried about the young star. People like John McEnroe speaking on the incident. McEnroe told BBC, "It's a shame, I feel bad for Emma. It appears like it just got too much," which is understandable. Not taking a break and rendering his remarks, he continued, "It makes you look at the guys and girls who have been around for so long and wonder how they handle it. Hopefully she will learn from this experience. Maybe it's not a shame this happened right now when she's 18. I played this tournament at 18, and in a way I was happy I lost. I was able to understand what it would take to make it. Allow her to take some deep breaths and maybe get some wild cards." These comments from McEnroe led to a lot of backlash from a lot of people. British broadcaster and journalist Harriet Minter tweeted in reply, "Listening to the John McEnroe commentary about Emma Radukinu, 2 things. 1. Is he drunk? 2. Is there anything more annoying than a man telling a woman she's not hurt, she's just emotional? No, there isn't. Please ask him to stop." The comments really got to her. Same way it got to sports reporter and former rugby union player Rob Vickerman, who added, "How can John McEnroe come out with those comments, not knowing anything about her retirement from the match?" His comments really attracted a lot of hate to the already hated tennis player. He was basically dubbed a grade A idiot by Scottish actress Annie Wallace, while his comments were regarded as disgusting, embarrassing, and appalling by other fans. Throughout his career, John McEnroe garnered an outrageous and not encouraging sum of over $69,000 in fines. Although he shoots from the hip with his mouth, only now he earns money for doing it by being a sports commentator instead of having to pay fines for his utterances. As much as John McEnroe let his temper get the best of him during matches, he always made sure to see the game through. His victory over Bjorn Borg, even after his altercations with the officials and the player, shows how focused on winning he is. For a player that was hated and disliked as much as him to go on and win 7 Grand Slam titles is something worth commenting on. Most players would have fallen into depression, but not McEnroe. He stood strong, fought on, and is less bothered about people's opinion of him, but more about how he perceives himself to be. That should be one of the qualities that made him considered a worthy inductee into the International Tennis Hall of Fame in 1999. Looking at the attention he brought to the game during his time, he sure deserves it. In reply to all the backlash given to him by fans and journalists regarding his comments on Emma Radukinu, John McEnroe told CNN in an interview, "I meant exactly what I said."